Okay, take two. Oh my goodness. Now it's actually somewhat quiet in my house. I can record. Alright, hey guys, it's been quite a while since my last upload. I know the evidence is there, however, I can't express enough that I'm truly grateful for reaching 100 subs. Originally, my 100 subscribers special was going to be about Mario Party, but I chose to work on and finish the script instead. Consider this my actual first video essay of sorts, even though I know I could never do something like that. Anyway, enough rambling, thanks again, and on to the video. The Legend of Zelda is a franchise known by many, and a story that canonically goes on through multiple generations of Links, fighting against the forces of evil, whether it be in a whole different timeline, or just by fighting a different form of evil that isn't just Ganon. The will and the spirit of the hero is something that will always be portrayed in each game. However, what if I told you that Zelda, in its lore, the story, is nothing but a senseless and meaningless cycle where we do nothing but the same thing in each game? We play as Link and stop Ganon and save the princess. Well, yes, we get a few games that show other forces. What if those two go into the whole thing about it being a cycle? No matter what Link does, there will always be another Ganon, and when there is a Ganon, there will always be another Link. Now, you may be wondering why I'm just spouting random things and figuring out what my point is. Hopefully I'm able to portray it to you in this video. From an outsider who doesn't play games or has never played Zelda, what would you tell them? Probably that it's a fantasy-based game where you play as a hero, stop an evil threat to save a princess, right? Well, yes, that's what it is in simple terms, but in simple or complicated terms, no matter what, that's what it will always be due to the story and writing we have been given by Nintendo. However, what if I told you that the world and characters are more than that, and we just haven't been able to see it with our own eyes? If you just play Zelda because you like Zelda, then that's awesome, but me and many others like to look into the lore and read in between the lines. Whether it be theories or just talking about the things that are really shown in game, or just little things added to the story. The example I'm using for this video is actually the whole reason of the video, as this creator has done amazing work at portraying his own take on something that hardcore Zelda fans speculate and wonder about to this day, which is a story and event of what happened to the hero of time after the events of Majora's Mask, and before the whole adventure of Twilight Princess. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to use this video as a weird type of video essay to talk about a creator called MajorLink. This creator is an animator who obviously is the one who animates the story I mentioned earlier. I came across the animator back in 2021 when I used to watch a bunch of Zelda theory videos. When it comes to Zelda, hidden stories like the Hyrulean Civil War or even one of the missing links, the Hero of Man, there is one story that people still wonder about to this day. That event is the events that took place between Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess, since there was a huge war against Ganon in that timeline, and MajorLink, with 5 episodes in, is able to portray his take on the event in this timeline. Seeing his first episode with his story really kept me hooked, since not only are his animations so high quality and fluid, but his writing is still able to keep you hooked and still make sense and relate with not just characters, but the overall lore of Zelda. As of writing this script, he has only released 5 episodes, and a teaser for the 6th one, so the story isn't finished yet. However, in 5 episodes, he has been able to portray an event in the timeline that Nintendo has not even shown so well that I've taken it upon myself to say that this can be a canon outcome for the Hero of Time story. Following the years after Majora's Mask, we see Link in his adult form, and just by the first introduction and multiple scenes of this Link, we can see that MajorLink has shown that this is a Link that knows he's a hero that time forgot, as even though he is the same Link from said games, he is the one hero to get no recognition for his bravery, as in both timelines, he is not noted for his actions. Only by the royal family, as Zelda and Impa are the only ones who know of his struggles. Knowing of his events, Zelda in this story wishes to not burden Link anymore, as he has done too much for the kingdom already, especially since this burden was thrust upon him as a mere child. We surprisingly also get to see Sheik in this child timeline, which of course is just Zelda, and Zelda is actually more involved with the kingdom and her soldiers more as the Princess of Hyrule. If any of you don't know the story of Zelda during Majora's Mask, after Link warns the kingdom of Ganon, after the events of Ocarina of Time, in the child timeline, the kingdom of Hyrule had a war with the Gerudo of sorts, where the kingdoms prepared for all-out war with them, while Link was still looking for Navi in the Lost Woods. In this story, everything happens the same, as we see events from Majora's Mask to flashbacks of Link and even an appearance from Skull Kid and the Mask Salesman. So we are actually able to see the events that took place before they sealed Ganon away in Twilight Princess. I want to try and talk about this the best I can without spoilers, but it's actually kind of hard to, as there are so many good scenes in a web series of all things. What I can say about the overall lesson of the story is about destiny, and how sometimes the destiny given to someone isn't always a good one. Through the episodes, multiple events happen to Link, discussing the past events and actions he's done in them, and now that he's an adult, he's starting to think about the past and about multiple regrets and how certain things should have gone. But the big one to sum up his side of the story, his portrayal, in my own opinion, is in 2 simple words: why me? which is a perfect representation of the hero of time. A hero not known for the actions and struggles he went through, as both timelines never exactly knew the specifics of their hero. In the adult timeline, known as a hero in green, which is why boys who come of age don the green tunic, and in the child timeline, nothing at all, as he is able to prevent it from ever even happening. All this done by a mere child that was given a very heavy burden, and no one knowing of the hardships and loss he went through along the way. However, my favorite portrayal in this fan story is actually of Ganondorf of all characters. MajorLink is able to portray Ganondorf as, well, exactly that, as Ganondorf. We know Ganon as the bad guy, and with some lore given, he's the only Gerudo male born however many years, and he's the reincarnation of Demise. However, in the story, while that's still the case, MajorLink portrays the side of Ganon as basically himself, an actual king who only wanted what's right for his people. But, due to being under the influence of Demise, as he is the reincarnation of his hatred, he is destined to become that evil king, whether he wanted to or not. With whatever power Ganondorf has, he's actually trying to change everything, as he states that everything they know is actually just a cycle driven by a curse, and wonders if everyone else even knows of this. How people before they were ever born started all this bloodshed and malice, and how it was destiny that binds their specific lives to this peril. All Ganon wants in this story is to change destiny and be able to choose their own paths, not just for him, but for everyone to have that option in life to choose their own destiny and not have one forced upon them. The only time we get to somewhat see this type of portrayal in actual Zelda lore is during Wind Waker of all games, as Ganon just wanted to restore Hyrule and bring back his people. The only time Ganon actually cared for his kind, not wanting to kill the hero or the goddesses or even take over Hyrule. Being able to see a character portrayed as having a somewhat good side to him, even though we've only known him as a very evil person, is really cool to see in adaptations of certain things. So being able to see Ganon have somewhat of his own personality in this animation is actually a cool thing to see. Not knowing what happens in a story is actually a cool thing, as it leads you to speculate how things are connected and what exactly happened. But being able to see someone's idea of how something happened is way more amazing than that, as not only do you find that there are people who have the same ideas as you, but also get to see another perspective of something similarly thought of, and MajorLink did that perfectly. With his own take of an event only ever mentioned in text and subtle hints that happen in a game, he is able to portray it and show them amazingly with character interactions filled with multiple emotions, story and writing relating to canon lore, and animation portraying the fights and strengths of characters over, as of right now, only 5 episodes. With such great work and dedication, I know me and over 200,000 people, and hopefully more, can't wait to see how this fan story ends and how it can connect to the overall actual canon of the story of such a wonderful franchise.